Hello and welcome everyone. Today's question is maximum product subset of an array. So we have given an array and we have to find maximum product. So the maximum product is possible with the subset of elements. So we can take an element and not take an element. So in this case the maximum product we can find is 24. So let's build the approach. So we have some values. Let's circle out first negative values because negative values is our main concern. So these values. So we have positive values, negative values and 0. So we have to assign positive value. Initially it is 1 and we have negative value. Initially it is also 1 and we have to check whether there is a 0 present in the array. So 0. Initially it is false. So if there is any positive value then we will multiply with positive. If there is any negative value we will multiply with negative, then positive, like this. So our main concern is our negative value. So let's identify it. So we have negative values. If we have even number of negative values, suppose we have in the array, like in this case it is -1, -4, -1, then -3, then -5. So it is 4 multiply 15. So it is positive. If we have even number of negative values, the negative variable will be converted to positive. And if we have odd, so here I am referring to the count of negatives. So if it is odd then it will still be negative. So now we have to write the conditions. If our negative value is positive, means it is converted to positive, means count of negatives is even, then we have to return positive multiply negative. Or if we have handled this case, if we have odd number of values, like what if we have this, so we have -4, -1 and -3. So it is 12, -12. So what if we will exclude this value, we will not take this value, then it will be positive. So we have to neglect the maximum value. Like on the number line we have -1 here, -3 here, -4 here. So we have to neglect the maximum value because on the negatives it is opposite. So we have to neglect the maximum value on the negative side. So we have to take one another variable which is maximum negative. So here maximum negative, its default value is minimum. So now it is -1. So if we have a maximum negative value, or we can say, so for this we will need to take count of negative values. So this is the count. So if count is odd, so we have handled the even case. So for count, so we have count for even. So I am writing like this: count of negatives is greater than 1. I will tell you why I am not considering 1. So if this is the case, if count of negative is odd, because we have handled the even, so that's why. So then we have to write it like this: we have to multiply with positive, of course. Then on these negative values we have to neglect this maximum negative, so we are multiplying. Now we have to divide. So this will remove the maximum negative value. Maximum negative. So in this case, the negative is minus 12 and maximum negative is minus 1. So it will give us 12. So in this case, it is fine. So now let's handle if a count of negative is only 1. So this case, so our count of negatives is only 1. So for this case, we will simply return positive. But we have to handle what if there is no positive. We have only this. So for this, we have to uh, we are tracking the count of negatives. Here we have to also track count of positives. Count of positives, because here we have two types of array, two types of cases like this. So here the answer must be -4. Here the answer is 2. So we have to count the number of positive also. So if count of positive, we have any positive value in our array, then we will return positive. Now it's time for negative, count of -1. What if we have only one negative value? So for this we have two types of cases also, -4 and 0. So in this case the answer is -4, of course. In this case the answer is 0. So that's why we have to also track if there is any 0 present in our array. So if there is any 0 there, then we will simply return 0. Else we have no other option, we have to return the negative value. So we will return negative value. That's it. But we have to also consider the modulus operation. So while multiplying here, here, and here and here, so we have to also consider the modulus operation. So that's it. Let's code this. So we have negative and positive. This is a long and minimum negative as I've discussed. Then count of positives, negative, and mode, and of course 0. Then if there is a positive value, we have to multiply with positive with while taking mode, and we have to increment our count of positive. If there is a negative value, we have to take the maximum negative, then multiply with negative value and count of negative. So this condition is important. We have to consider the maximum negative value, as there is a negative value, there is a 0. So modify your 0 variable. This is a even condition. So we have even negatives, so then we will multiply positive with negative, or negative is still negative, means we have a lot of negative values. So we will first remove the minimum negative. So if count of negatives is greater than 1, so means we have a lot of negative values. So we will remove the maximum negative value. So this will remove the maximum negative value. Here the variable name is maximum negative. Then we have count of positive. As I have discussed, if count of positive, if there is any positive value, return that positive value. So at the end, just check if there is any 0, so return 0, or else we have no other condition, we have to return the negative value. Let's submit this code. If you have any doubt regarding this solution, feel free to ask in the comment section. The code is provided in the description box, and we have successfully submitted this code. I hope you like this code, and feel free to click on the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching this video.